how to be happy and live in the moment. It can be frustrating in life if you just can't seem to be happy, or you feel like you can't focus and enjoy the moments you are within. So within this video, I plan to show you, number one, how to be happy, and number two, how to live in the moment and what that does for your life, and some good ways to do this to be able to truly be happy and enjoy the time you have here. And I promise you by the end of this video, you will have a better understanding and some tools to lean on. With that being said, my name is Chris Richardson. I'm a coach here at Life on Your Terms, and I make these videos because I used to struggle with this stuff. I used to struggle with how to be happy and to be in present. I always think about the past. I always think about the future. So I'm trying to pass on my experience and pass on my knowledge so you guys can work through these things quicker than I ever did. So the first piece is how to be happy. And what I've got to say about this is don't only focus on happiness. Nowadays, I rarely think about how happy I am. And generally, that's an indication to me that I am happy. If I don't think about it, I'm probably happy, or I don't at least care about it. And so what I would encourage you is that I think a lot of people like to be like, well, I'm not happy. How can I be happy? And that's all they think about. Well, you're putting yourself at a deficit by saying, I'm not happy. How can I be? Or I will be happy when. That's a trap a lot of people fall into. You're putting yourself at a deficit. So I would encourage you to actually just try not to think about happiness at all. Try to focus and feel all the other emotions you have. I like to think of joy more so than happiness. Like, am I feeling joyful throughout my day? Because I'm not gonna be happy throughout my day. Some days I don't wanna record these videos. Some days I don't wanna do the work that's necessary to do, but I do it because I know for my long-term happiness, it will be impactful and I will feel really good about it. So don't only focus on happiness. Be okay being sad, be okay being mad, be okay being stressed, and try to focus on other things. Maybe try to focus on accomplishing stuff instead of happiness. And a good way to look at accomplishing stuff, I'm not saying money, I'm not saying prestige. If you want to, great, but what I'm saying is to take the balance wheel in the description below, because there's a lot of areas in your life that you can start accomplishing stuff in on a personal level. What I mean is that there's professional, there's relationships, there's resources and health within the balance wheel, and you could go through those and you could start accomplishing stuff on a really cool personal level that I think would make you feel really good. If you do this balance wheel every quarter, what'll happen is you're gonna feel really good at the end of the quarter. You're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I went from a 4 to a 6 in my physical health. And I feel really good about that. And I think that's what happiness is. And that's what you gotta look at. You don't wanna look at just being happy every day, or I'm not happy with my life. That may be true, but with that being said, you wanna try to, the point being, only focusing on happiness will put you at a deficit and you will never be truly happy. So that's the first piece of how to be happy. Now, you're like, Chris, what else can I do? Well, another thing you can do is you can limit negativity. That's another thing that I think draws away from our joyfulness, is that when we put too much emphasis on social media, when we put too much attention onto the news, and when we give too much time to negative people, that's gonna draw away from your joyfulness and your overall happiness within your life. You're generally gonna feel worse when you surround yourself with those type of influences. So a good way is just to ask yourself, what things can I cut out within my life that are negative and don't really add to the well-being of my life, or they don't give me anything? So that's what you can do also to be happy, is to limit negativity. Now, on top of limiting negativity, one hack that I like to do is I like to think of one thing I'm grateful for every day. And typically it's usually something pretty simple. The other day I saw a lot of cars broken down on the side of the road, and I was just grateful that I had a car that I could drive around and go places. Sometimes when I see someone that's disabled, whether they're blind, whether they can't walk, I'm truly grateful that I'm able to walk, I'm able to see, that I have a healthy body. And if you can just rely and lean into that, just observe your world. Like right now, I'm grateful that I have electricity and I have AC because it's hot outside. Looking at those things can help you be really grateful and feel really good about the opportunities and things that you have within your life and make you feel joyful. So on top of gratitude, another thing you can do is physical activity. Working out just has a general endorphin boost in general. You will feel better if you consistently work out. Mentally, you'll feel better. You'll feel better physically. There's a lot of things that physical activity that I've leaned into that have really gotten me through some hard times. So leaning into physical activity and making changes there can be another way for you to be happy. Now, the second piece of this video is how to live in the moment. How can you be happy and live in the moment? Well, living in the moment does take some training. It's not just easy. You can't just snap into it. So what I would encourage you to do is actually make a mental focus over this quarter maybe to just how can you live and enjoy every moment you're within? How can you enjoy every step you're taking, every breath you're taking, every moment with a loved one? How can you train yourself to do that? And you have to find some ways, you have to catch yourself thinking. I usually really struggle with perfectionism. So what I had to do is I really had to catch myself like, okay, Chris, nope, it's not what you're doing wrong, it's what you're doing right. And so you have to kind of train yourself to live in the moment in the same way. Now, some ways you can train yourself is mindfulness. Mindfulness is one of my favorite things to do. What I like to do is I like to go sit on that deck out there and I just look at the trees. I just look at the cars, I look at everything out there and I just take in the objects in front of me. And that's what I would encourage you to do, is to do an object scan, as I like to call it. Set a timer for 5 minutes, put the phone down, and only look at the things around you and only think about those things. Because when you do that, you'll actually find this really hard, but it'll train your mind to be present and only think about the things that are in front of you, which will help you live in the moment. Now, on top of an object scan, you could do a body scan. This can be more of an instant hack where you're in a situation and you need to be present and live through that moment. What you can do is you can start from your feet and move up your body and just think about, how do you feel? How does your body feel? How do your feet feel? How do your shins feel? How does your torso feel? How does your head? How do your ears feel? Think about all those things that can help you bring you to the moment and the sensations that you're currently feeling. On top of the body and the object scan, another thing you can do is breathing. With mindfulness, you can practice some meditation, really just focus on your breath. That's the only thing you're focusing on. You're trying to think about nothing else other than your breath. And when you do that, again, that'll help you bring you to the present, and you can rely on that breath when you want to live in the moment. Because if you practice this breathing, I like the square breathing technique, 4 seconds in, 4 seconds hold, 4 second exhale, 4 second hold. When you do this, you can then rely on that in social situations when you want to live in the moment. Or maybe if you're with your family, you could really start doing that square breathing technique and it should bring you to the present. A good way to develop this breathing is ice baths. Now, ice baths has physical benefits, but one of my favorites is the mental benefit of making me live in the moment. Because the cool thing about the ice bath is the water never gets warmer. It is always just as cold as it was yesterday or the day before that. And when I get in, that's the only thing I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about my breathing and I'm thinking about how cold I am. And that's a good way that I have found that has trained me to live in the moment. Now, on top of the ice bath, one other way within our lives, kind of a mindset or a strategy you can carry with you, is to just engage within the moment. Don't float through the moment. I think a lot of people live in a very reactive state. Things happen in their life and they're like, okay, yeah, I'll do that, or whatever. They let life come at them. And instead of being reactive, I would encourage you to be proactive. So if you're in a conversation and you're not saying much and you feel like you're not living in the moment, I would encourage you to start engaging more, and I guarantee you'll be more present. So I would say take a more proactive and engaging approach, and that'll help you live in the moment as well. With that being said, that was how to be happy and live in the moment. If you like these kind of videos, please leave a comment about what you liked, because it tells me what I need to work on and what other content I need to pump out. On top of that, if you'll like and subscribe, that's kind of the icing on the cake for me. And if you like this video, take that balance wheel, because that'll help you be joyful and it'll help you live in the moment.